Do you like music? Well, we might just let this next story introduce itself.
We're sitting in the G'day Parks caravan park in Hervey Bay, and we've been here for a little while, but there were some new neighbours that just happened to be in a cabin. We heard this music playing one day. There's this beautiful flute, and I thought, wow, got to go see who that is. What are they doing? They're obviously professional.
Yes. Yeah, we seriously did think that you were rehearsing and you were
going to play somewhere.
Yeah. Playing. Wow.
So Judy Lattas, welcome to Food, Wine, Pets, Travel.
Hi.
Come on,
nice
are you professional or what?
No, absolutely not. This is my retirement playtime. No, I've got the chance to actually practice, and I've taken to the flute, and I like to do it often.
How come you took up the flute?
Well, I played whistle, and I had got myself a low D whistle because I like the tone of it, the mellow tone. And we went, sadly, to the funeral of some Greek academic friends of ours, and they played this tune, which was the Lament of the Flutes. And Andrew said, "Can you learn that for me?" And I tried to learn it, and it was all in these flats that I just, couldn't. You can bend notes on a whistle, but I just couldn't get the right key. And I remember that I tried to play the flute years ago, so I got that out, but it was pretty unplayable. And I said to him, "You buy me a flute for my birthday, my upcoming birthday," which I was just turning 60 and retiring, and he did, and that was the first tune I learned.
Wow. Okay, Andrew is your husband.
Yes, he's Greek.
So he gave you a flute for your birthday, and you're now doing this magical stuff.
Well, I played Celtic music before. I played tin whistle and a bit of mandolin and stuff like that. So I knew some tunes. And because I'd learned violin, I knew about music. So I never had a lesson with the flute. I just started. And you can find whatever you need to know off the internet anyway. But I very soon found that I really liked the sound of it, and other people did too. I think they liked it better than hearing whistle all the time, because it's a bit more mellow. It's really become my preferred instrument.
Awesome. And you live in one of the most unusual places in Australia.
Yeah, that's right, on Dangar Island, which is a little island just to the north of Sydney in the Hawkesbury River. There's no cars. It's very village-like, no colleagues there, but everyone's my friend. And we have day trippers, tourists, and they like to hear it too.
So why are you here in Hervey Bay in Queensland?
My daughter got a job, her first academic job. She got a lectureship in social work here at the campus here of the University of Sunshine Coast. And I had gone to school here in my last 2 years of school. And I was curious to come back, and I wanted to help her move up here. She was trying to avoid doing hotel quarantine in Brisbane, so we thought we'd just hang out in northern New South Wales, and I could drive her up and drive as much stuff as could fit in the car up with us.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Dimity is absolutely gorgeous, and we'll talk to her another time. But you've got your own collegiate background that I think we'd love to talk about, because you've been instrumental in lots of things at Macquarie University in Sydney.
Yeah. Well, just as Dimmy is the first appointment in social work in Hervey Bay, I was the first appointment in what was then called Women's Studies at Macquarie University. So my history was that I was an activist, and I was living up in Cairns. I had started a rape crisis centre up there, and I'd worked in the first women's shelter. And then I'd started my PhD, and I was very surprised to get that job in Sydney. I was living in Adelaide at the time, doing my PhD and doing a little bit of casual teaching, and got offered it and went over there. So I was there 30-odd years at Macquarie, and built it up from scratch. And now, until it was called Gender Studies and had about 1,000 students a year.
So what's the most, it's very hard to encapsulate in just 2 minutes or so, but what are you most proud of that you did while you were there?
It kept it alive when a lot of other programs folded, and that was really a struggle at different times. I'm proud of the teaching program that I developed and the amount of students that it touched. and I got a lot of really great feedback from students about how important it was to them, so that was important to me.
So people who don't understand about gender studies and women's studies, what is it in a nutshell?
It's about what it means to be male, what it means to be female in a society that's structured according to gender norms and symbolic structures, and it just has implications across so many different fields. I couldn't cover them all.
Yeah, of course.
And
Yeah.
it gives
I'm philosophy
people...
trained, so
Yep.
I'm pretty focused on the symbolic structures and the sort of metaphysics of it. But, you know, my husband's an anthropologist. I mean, he worked a lot in gender in Papua New Guinea with cargo cults, which were often built around female figures. It could be in psychoanalysis, which I did some study in. Anything from, it can even have to do with business and diversity and sexual violence as well, because I come from that background. Violence was important, the analysis and...
Dare I ask why violence is important?
Because I worked in a women's shelter and a rape crisis centre, and that had always been my focus.
So that obviously affects you personally as well, just seeing these cases and these people and all the rest of it.
Yes, it did.
So does the music help you cope with that, do you think? In some way? I mean,
in a very general sense, it really is my mindfulness practice, and I find it's a way of calming myself down every day, and I find I actually need to play, and it's like I then can settle. So it does help in that way psychologically. It does help me sort of live in the present a little bit more. It also helps my lungs. I've got a lung condition, so
Okay.
it was good. Doctor said, play a lot of flute. So
Play a lot of flute, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Judy Lattas, absolutely extraordinary, and we feel very lucky that we actually met her. She was just in the cabin next to our caravan, and I could have talked to her for hours, and hopefully will again, because she has so many interesting stories, and she is so positive and so not ready to stop doing anything.
Yeah, absolutely. No, wonderful. And the great thing she's doing with her daughter as well.